And Prime Minister Mark Carney, who has avoided reporters' questions for days, has posted a video on X about Canada's response to threats from abroad.
With our economy under threat from abroad, Canadians have made a choice to focus on what we can control. You are choosing to put your hard-earned dollars behind Canadian businesses and Canadian workers. Canada's new government is doing the same with our new Buy Canadian policy. We're on a mission to build big, from millions of homes that will improve affordability, to major projects that will transform our economy, to the new military hardware that will protect Canadians and our sovereignty.
And meantime, some of Canada's premiers are showing their support for the Prime Minister on social media. From BC Premier David Eby, quote, "You're on the right path, Mark. Canada must stand on our own 2 feet. British Columbia has your back." As for Trump saying the last thing the world needs is to have China take over Canada, Manitoba's premier had this response: "Canada will never be taken over. Not by China, not by Trump. We will always be the true North, strong and free." With me now is Matthew Holmes, Executive Vice President and Chief of Public Policy at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for being here, Matthew. How serious do you think this tariff threat is from Trump?
Well, what we've seen is the tariff threats don't seem to go away, even for the countries that managed to strike deals with the current administration. So, Renee, you really laid it out. Last week, President Trump said it was a good thing that Canada and China were talking about trade. This week, he doesn't think the same, and we'll see what next week brings. I think at this point, it's hard to really predict.
Yeah, you never know when Trump is going to change his mind about something. So if these tariffs do go ahead, let's assume they will for this, what sectors in Canada would feel the impact first?
Well, Canada's a trading nation. 2/3 of our economy depend on import-export trade. And so if there were suddenly a holistic across-the-board tariff in place, it would have a fairly significant impact on our economy. About 75% of our exports go to the United States. And we wouldn't stop exporting. They would just be more expensive, and they would be largely more expensive for the American consumer and American businesses. So, tariffs are ultimately a tax. They're a tax on the American people. And so even if he had the legal mechanism in place to put in place that sort of immediate tariff across the board, yes, it would impact our businesses. Yes, it would be a pretty serious blow to our economy, but it would likely also hurt quite a bit on the American side of the border. And that's the message I think the current Canadian government is making, and many businesses are making on both sides of the border, that we have an integrated economy. We have supply chains that rely on both parts of that border working and being porous and allowing the movement of people and goods to continue. And if that stops, or if that gets harder or more expensive, the costs will be borne on both sides of the border.
The U.S. is pursuing its own deals with China. So why do you think Canada's trade deal is an issue for the U.S.?
Well, you're quite right. Just this past summer, China and the United States struck a deal between certain critical minerals that China needs for some of its supply chain, and the chips that the United States is producing, the semiconductors that China needs for other products in advanced manufacturing. So they have struck a deal themselves with China recently. This is very much along similar lines. It's very discreet. It's very precision oriented towards, in Canada's case, seafood, agricultural products like canola seed, and on the other side, Chinese EV tariffs, and really what we call a tariff rate quota, a very small amount of vehicles overall that are being allowed in. And for the Canadian consumer, a lot of those are probably just going to be Teslas that happen to be made in China, for example. So I don't think it really will be that far-ranging or that proportionate compared to the incredible range that the USMCA or CUSMA has. Every product that we sell to the United States just about comes under the CUSMA deal right now.
Right now. We'll have to leave it there. Matthew Holmes, Executive Vice President and Chief of Public Policy at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Renee.